We live, baby.
Hi.
Josh ain't here, baby. This is before. It's Sunday morning, baby.
Oh, my microphone wasn't on. That's silly of me. Hey, everybody. We're doing a little Sunday morning crossword with Pete until Josh gets here.
Josh was at the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do the whole introduction stuff when Josh gets here. So, in the meantime, let's do crossword. Tara
No
says
cheating.
Tara said this is Josh Erasure.
Well, Josh isn't here, so I don't know what to say. We should have never done this. I'm very bad at crosswords, so I feel like there's pressure on me.
You were the one who was so excited to do the crossword. Look, thank you, everybody.
It's the Sunday crossword. It's the most difficult one.
Yeah,
know?
well, you got to read us those hints, baby.
Yeah.
All right, let's start up here. Emotionally process in modern lingo.
Emotionally process. 6 letters. Feel it?
That's not a phrase.
Yeah, dude, you feel it. You just gotta feel it.
Just feel it.
Just feel it, baby.
Feel it, bro.
Emotionally processed in modern lingo. I would say that in modern lingo.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would also say that in modern lingo. All right, let's move on. Do you know this one? Collapsed in sunbeams.
Hold on. Somebody in the chat said Pete jumping into a bit unprepared for the consequences? Nah. Immediately called out. It's great. I love it.
Damn, bro. Fucking roasted. But do we know this song, the album Collapsed in Sunbeams?
Singer, songwriter.
Can we take a driver's license detour? Have you guys listened to that song?
Yeah, dude, where you been since January?
Like last week.
Have you listened to
So good.
Have you listened to Deja Vu that came out the other day?
No, what's that?
That's Olivia Rodrigo's newest song. It's really, really good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just out of I guess I listened to the song when it came out. I just didn't know there was this whole like saga behind it, you know?
Oh yeah, the drama, baby.
With the drama, you know? Yikes. Anyway, let's go back here. I feel like we're really gonna be able to solve one of these. You know, what's a Russian city on the Ural River?
Perfect.
Anyone? You know?
Yeah, we got anybody in Russia watching? What's a city on the Ural River?
Digest.
Butter like spread.
March?
Butter like spread. It's here, 4 letters. Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
not even.
Do you guys know who aired Nancy Drew?
Oh.
What?
God. 5 letters?
CW?
Yeah, I think it might be
Oh,
the CW.
Damn, nice. Right. Seller of Belgian waffles and French toast. I in its name.
P. The says buttery spread is oleo. O-L-E-O.
O-L-E-O. Oleo. Never heard of that. Do you think this is IHOP? It can't be IHOP, right?
Oh, or are we talking about the Russian city? Oh, God.
Oh.
The I in its name.
You know,
Yes,
Boromir with an 8 in front of their name is just naming, I guess, Russian cities that start with O. I really don't know. Those are the 3 cities on the Ural River. Okay, Orsk, Orenburg, and Oral are the 3 cities on the Ural River.
Fuck. They totally fucked us with this crossword clue. It could be any of them.
happened to be near a map. Oh no, we're using outside sources.
No, I believe that I'll allow it. That's fair. Olio. All right, I'm gonna put in Olio and we'll leave it there. We'll see that takes us. You know. Anyway, we also have ancient halls. Anyone?
What is this?
What is this indeed, Itch?
Ancient halls.
Maybe we should talk about the Malazane Book of the Fallen. Do you think that could be something we do on the show?
Sure. Yeah, we can get this. I mean, Josh should be here soon. So, I mean, yeah, so,
Rise.
The real purpose of this stream, for those of you who don't know, Ancient Hall, I do believe, is 4 letters, right?
Yeah.
Yes, 4 letters. So the main purpose of the stream is to just, you know, do a little, well, first of all, get some face-to-face time, I guess, with the 4 of us and the rest of y'all, because I don't think we've ever done anything public with our faces, right? We posted some pictures in the Discord, but we've never done any, like, video stuff.
It's our faces, baby. We here.
It's our faces, baby. And the reason that we're doing this special, I almost said one time only, but we'll probably do it again because I think this will be fun. We're doing a little halfway Q&A, little question and answer situation, because we just finished. Well, not just finished. It's now been like 4 months since we finished Midnight Tides, but the show is about to start airing our Bone Hunters episodes. So we thought before that, next Friday, by the way. We would do just a little check-in, answer some of your questions about the show, about how we feel about the series, just about, you know, whatever. And then we'll upload this to YouTube and we'll be done with it. So.
And it should be noted, AJ has now read books 1 and 2. They're caught up, baby.
Yeah. Last week, Pete and I talked about Gardens of the Moon and Dead House Gates, because I had not originally read those. So now I'm all caught up. I'm on the same level as everybody else now. It's a great time. It's very fun times. So yeah, thank you. Rashana says, proud of you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It feels good, honestly. They ask, how does it feel? It feels good to be fully caught up. I felt like I had a pretty okay grasp of the events of Gardens of the Moon and Dead House Gates. And if you listen to the episode, came out last week, not this past Friday, the Friday before. It feels good to actually know the specific events that happened, because there were things that I didn't realize happened in those books. And there are things, honestly, I think reading Dead House Gates so close to starting Bone Hunters, I think I said this in the episode too, is like really going to benefit me, because if not, it would have been a very long time, such as India has done. You know, read the books, what, a year and a half ago now? You finished Dead House Gates? Like, what was that?
We read Dead House Gates just when I got to Japan, because we finished Gardens of the Moon. I moved.
Right.
And
yeah.
then, because I didn't know whether I would have internet access for a while. So we had we're gonna release Dead House Gates soon, TM.
Man, quite the saga we've been on with this show, huh?
Yeah.
Just like life events
definitely.
and stuff. Wild.
There's been a global pandemic, you know?
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Which is something we don't talk about on the show a lot. I listen to a lot of podcasts that get a lot into it and talk about their lives and like talk about what that's going on. But like, I don't know. We've only mentioned it a few times, which I think is kind of funny, you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it like when it was first happening last, April and stuff. But yeah, I don't think we've really touched on it. Like we talk about it with Steve when we talk to Steve. He's like, hey, how's writing a book in quarantine? But that's really as much as we get into it, you know? I guess for fun fact, India's fully vaccinated. I have my first vaccination. I'm going to get my second one at the end of the month. That's fun.
Fucking, are you just flexing on me right now? Is
P.
that what we're
thus said
doing?
there's so much else to talk about. Yes, there is so much else to talk about, especially since we're talking about these, 1,000-page books.
And the thing is, what's so fucked is it's not like we even get into like every nook and cranny of the books.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, but
Yeah, we spend so much time talking about the books, and we still miss stuff.
yeah. How you doing, Inge?
I'm doing great. I'm so tired.
Yeah?
Yeah, guys, I'm going to Hawaii on Monday, and
Which is crazy.
Safe to
have
travel.
just been running around like a mad woman since like Friday.
Hmm.
I'm a very poor planner. So
Yeah, you
I'm a
started-
little sleepy,
we-
but I'm pumped.
Yeah. We got on the call like 20 minutes early, and you were on the floor in your closet packing a bag while eating your dinner.
Exactly.
She knows how to multitask.
Yeah.
You know?
Pete,
Positive
Jorge
reframe.
Walken asked, what prompted your move to Japan?
Oh, massive weeb. That's why Pete moved. You know. No, I moved for I moved to teach English. I work here for a job, and that's pretty much the main reason I moved. And I don't know. Honestly, it's a super long story that I don't really talk about on the show. I don't really talk about Japan much on the show, but yeah, that's generally why I moved. So now I live in northern Japan in Tohoku, and work at 2 schools. It's a great time, you know. But yeah, it's quite a saga.
Inaglio 13, how lucky are you guys that you are one of the only content creators Mr. Erickson will be continuing to talk to? I mean, we're definitely very grateful for that. There's a lot of stuff going on that we're not going to get into tonight, but you know, it's always a pleasure having Steve on the show. I think a lot of people have said, especially after this last conversation with Steve, is that it really just seems like we're just hanging out with a friend, which is really cool. I agree with that. That is the vibe, and that is really cool to feel, honestly.
Aren't we, though?
I do think it's really funny, considering, first off, we did release this interview, and like right now there's such like, you know, there's all this stuff, and like, so we kind of like snuck it out, and it's whatever, because it was so pre-planned. But someone commented, you guys were talking on the Discord about that moment when I was like, oh, Steve, I imagined this interview was going to be more adversarial. And he was like, why? And I just straight up ignored him. Because
You just moved right on.
Yeah.
India, you said, are we friends? I mean, if anybody's friends with Steve in this call, it's you. I'm sorry to say.
No,
Not
I
sorry
know,
to say,
I know. I absolutely knew that. I was just playing around. I'm Steve's
she just
favorite.
she
knows
just
that-
wanted us to say it.
Yeah, you know your type. You got it. That's funny. Yeah, and that's something like, even when we started with the first talking to Steve, like, it's always been a chill time. And India and Steve have always had a very friendly relationship. And India, I think that's, I don't know, I think you guys have similar personalities, right? Like,
I don't think you could be more incorrect in that statement.
Yeah, I just don't know where you're getting that from at all.
no, I
but-
just mean, like, you know, compatible personalities, I guess I should say.
Oh.
Okay, I'm not trying to. Like,
I would say.
Okay, I'm not trying to do any shipping of real live people.
Very weird dynamic.
Whatever.
No, I just tell Steve about my life because obviously
Yeah.
he cares, you know? At the end of every episode, you got to give him that life update.
Yeah.
I will say, I do think there is, if anyone would get a book dedicated amongst us, I do think India could pull it off, you know? So,
It was supposed to be a surprise.
or
Oh, you didn't want me
here's
to put that on
something- I think
Sorry.
it would be great if we could get written in as minor background characters. Do you know what I mean?
Wouldn't that be
There's
great?
so many background characters. Do you know what I mean? Why not just have one India Jones in the background?
I agree.
Tara
You could
wants
do
to know
so
our
many
star
things with this
signs.
name, too. We could even,
India,
like,
India, what's your star sign?
Gemini, of course.
Gemini too, bro. What up?
Yeah.
I'm a Sagittarius, so.
Oh, Josh!
Tara's also a Gemini. Oh, here is Josh. Let me add him to
My beautiful adult son.
the call. Oh, hold on, Josh. You're not on the call yet. Don't make any jokes.
I love your hat, Josh. You look great.
Oh wow, you're really giving him a teaser, Pete.
How is the doctor?
Okay, well, that's so good to hear.
Nice.
Honestly.
Yes, my lungs are inflamed, so it hurts when I breathe.
Jesus. That's fucking rough, dude.
Well, you don't love to hear it.
It's all right. I got Chinese food.
Hell yeah.
My cat just jumped up. We're living
Hell
life.
yeah. I like the.
What Chinese did you get?
What? I got some dumplings, and I got some General Tso's and some rice. Kept it simple.
Hell yeah.
Well, it's
Josh, I'm
time
loving
for
the
you.
fit.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
That's what I said. He looks
Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
All right.
Am I on yet? What's the deal?
Yes, you're on. Josh, what's your star sign?
We're live streaming, baby.
Sick.
What's your star sign?
Josh,
Joshua.
What?
What's your star sign?
what is your star sign, bro?
I think I'm a Taurus, but everyone says that I act like the one before or after.
Gemini.
I can yell and ask HR. She'll know at the top of her head.
Is Gemini
When's
really
your
before
birthday?
My birthday's May 17th.
Gemini.
that? Oh my god. Wow. Gemini Pod.
I
Gemini
guess.
podcast
Yeah.
with Sagittarius producer.
Oh yeah, because I knew Pete and I had very close birthdays. When's your birthday, Andy? I have no idea.
May 30th.
Oh, right.
It's a Gemini army.
Troth didn't picture me with a beard.
Well, he is a
That's not even
Taurus.
mean.
Josh is a
That's
Taurus.
not even mean.
It is funny because Josh is pretty much, although Josh for a while was clean shaven with an afro, but then we turned into, there was a haircut at one point in our college career. So,
Yeah, it was a good choice.
all right, shall we get proper into discussing the Malazan Book of the Fallen now that my compatriot Joshua Dean has arrived?
Yeah, Josh, you missed the light crossword puzzle we were doing. The New York Times Sunday cross.
It was a huge embarrassment.
I love a crossword puzzle. You know that.
And you're way better at them than me. But
Yeah. I'm weirdly good at them.
yeah. Anywho's,
Also, if you didn't sign up for Josh eating noises, bummer. Buckle up.
just don't eat next to the microphone, bro.
I think you're good.
Thank you.
We could start talking Harry Potter. Like, it's really
I
no
don't
big
want to
deal.
talk about Harry
Like,
Potter.
Which does remind me, before we get into it, AJ, I think we should put those first episodes we recorded up on the Patreon. You know?
Oh,
Let's get them up there, baby.
Dune
Dune
spec app.
episode and
Yeah.
the Harry Potter
Josh is saying
episode.
no.
Oh my goodness,
Uh,
please no. Oh,
I don't know.
Is
They're
that-
like,
Yeah. India said a lot of questionable things. All right, and we don't need
did
that.
she?
Did you?
No. India.
Yeah, it was the Dune episode, and then we did a Harry Potter episode. I think India might have frozen. Oh no.
She did.
India.
She definitely frozen.
Oh no. Well, there she goes. All right. Well, I hope we don't have that same
Rip.
issue we had before. Yeah, Pete, what did you want to? How'd you want to get into this? Because I know you said you had questions that people had sent in for the mailbag that you had saved.
Yeah, I had, because I had Midnight Tides mailbag questions that I think we should just get to now. I saved them for this exact setting, baby.
Yeah, I'm down for doing that. Unless we want to do like a, I don't know.
Well,
Yeah,
let's
do
wait
that.
for India. And
Well-
I'll just say, I think we should put these episodes up. Go, Josh, go.
Thank you. I'll be right back.
Okay.
We'll tell a little lore for a second, you know?
Yeah. The deep lore. Yeah, let's go back to the,
The
beginning,
deep
baby.
lore. You know, so to like make practice episodes, I didn't want us to read Gardens of the Moon because I didn't want us to like spoil those chapters or whatever. So we read Harry Potter, and then we read Dune, and then we read Dune again, and I think we made 3 practice episodes. Hey, India.
We did the beginning of. Oh, she popped right back in. Great. We did the beginning of Goblet of Fire or Prisoner of Azkaban, or maybe it was just the beginning of Sorcerer's Stone. Was
I
another
think we
one.
did Sorcerer's Stone.
yeah.
But how long have I known India? We were in the same dorm room at college together. That's how we met.
In our
So,
freshman year.
About 7 years.
And to be honest,
8 years.
me and
No,
India,
more. so much more when we were 18.
Hold
Yeah,
on, Indy,
sure.
you're... Oh, never mind. Sorry, that's just me. All right.
And to be honest, the main
Oh.
reason I got to know India and her great roommate so well is because my roommate enjoyed having sex a lot. And I spent a lot of time not in the room because of it, hanging out in India's room and sleeping
yeah.
in her bed with and hanging out, you know?
That's so funny.
So that is
those
just a little deep lore.
Yeah.
This is
So good.
this was
Sometimes we
before
would
you
do
guys.
more.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyways.
oh yeah, the Harry Potter and Dune content was like our very first stuff we did the end of like 2018, beginning of 2019, right before the show came out. So, yeah, they were just some spec
Kind of funny
episodes.
too, since those episodes, I distinctly remember we did not do chapter summaries because we only decided to do those chapter summaries like the day before we did Gardens of the Moon. Such a
Right.
rogue decision, you know?
Yeah, it was well because we were trying to think of a way to like talk in detail, and I think for Dune, we did, which was the final like test episode. We did a like Josh did one chapter, India did one chapter, and then Pete did another
Yeah.
chapter, and
That was so bad.
That was
Oh.
it was bad. It was really rough.
So
Uh,
No,
I
because
did-
Go ahead, PB.
No,
Also, thank you. Also, Tara, thank you.
It was like we would have to read the chapter and then summarize it in our own words, just on the fly.
yeah. So we're talking about like the Quizact. Y'all were talking about the Quizact Hatterax, and you were like, I don't know what this
What?
is.
What maniacs we were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we were just trying stuff out, baby. And then I think after that, Pete and I talked, and we were like, hey, I think maybe you should just do all of them.
I would say, I mean, I think some of those Gardens of the Moons episodes are pretty rough to listen to, but
Sure.
those pre-episodes are pretty rough. Maybe
Yeah.
we've made a release of some good audio, maybe towards Memories of Ice or House of Chains. Maybe that's around where we
I would
started
say
getting it together.
I would say episode 1 of Bone Hunters is the first one that I would actively listen to.
That's so funny.
Nice plug for the new season, Josh.
Yeah, you
Coming
heard-
up next.
You heard it here first. This is book 6 is the good
Yeah.
is the good time to jump
The
in.
best
Yeah.
season yet. Oh my god, I slept on my left foot. Anyway, it is my legs dying over here. I sat on it for like an hour. I am roasted. India.
This is not the first time you've done this.
Here's a question we got from the mailbag. Let's get into talking about the books thus far. Who is? Let's pick a favorite character. No, let's go with let's be superlative. Favorite character of the 5 books thus far. India Jones, what do you think?
Ooh, that was a tough one. Favorite character.
Damn.
Oh, easy. This is easy. I'm just gonna have to go ahead. Very safe decision, but really liked Whiskey Jack.
Oh.
Did not
Really?
see that one coming.
That was
Yeah.
came out of left field, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me why. Like,
Just an
Just-
all-around enjoyable character. Funny, compassionate, just really a relationship. Give me everything I wanted and then some. Friendship. Anything you could want.
Yeah. He does have that good
Untimely
romance.
demise.
Oh my
Loved
God.
it.
Who doesn't love an early death, you know?
That's what I always look for in my favorite
Only
characters
the
in
good die
fantasy.
young.
Oh my
True.
God. Yeah.
And
there
he
you
was the
go.
best of us.
I have to say I'm not a Whiskey Jack fan, and that is just Peter's, one of my many secrets. Joshua Dean, what do you
Jeez.
think, bro?
Why do you always give my whole ass name? If people could find me.
Yeah, I say
you
Josh
get
is so easy to
Joshua
dox.
Dean Baker, born May 17th, is what we've now given.
I could start talking about your mother more if you like.
I
Maybe
appreciate that.
maybe a family pet, you know?
I did see my mother today. It was very nice.
Oh, that's
At
nice.
Lunch. Hi, Kat. My favorite character, I think, is Fiddler.
Fiddler.
Fiddler's such a strong through line. I feel like he's such a grounded character throughout. I'm sorry, Battle Dad asked for my last 4 of my social.
Where do you see this?
I have the Twitch stream open in my other screen.
Yeah,
There's
you
a
should check it
Twitch
out, bro.
thing?
People are.
Yeah, that's where we're
live
streaming, baby.
bro.
What do you
this
think
is
we're
where
doing?
people aren't seeing this. They're seeing AJ's overlay on Twitch.
Yeah.
Wait, so I want to see it.
Okay, twitch.tv/AJ Faleri. That's me, baby.
Wait, go
Just
to
go
what?
just go to Twitter and go to AJ's Twitter.
Yeah,
He's
there you
tweeting
go.
it.
Yeah, my Twitter or the show's Twitter. That's so funny.
Why didn't you guys tell me this?
I thought you knew we were streaming on Twitch. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why people are talking to us through this.
I just thought they were
Tara's
talking
not
to
texting
AJ.
me. No, Tara's not texting me that she likes the drip.
Josh got a text
just thought
from
you-
viewer Battle Dad.
Josh, let me offer you a hot take. Do you not feel like Fiddler's kind of just like a nothing character? You know?
He is, and that is exactly why I like him. In a book series full of gods and demons and Kruppa, I need Fiddler just to be my rock. You know?
And you would say Fiddler's more of a rock than like Crocus,
Well,
who's like
Fiddler's
perpetually
more of a rock
unaware.
than Crocus. I
Yes.
love Crocus.
Yeah,
He is
yeah.
not a rock to build your church upon.
No, but he's the most viewer adjacent or reader adjacent, I guess. Point of view.
I think Fiddler's my reader adjacent personally.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Stop, India, you have to
Yeah.
mute the Twitch stream. Mute the Twitch stream or we're gonna hear echoes forever. I did this earlier.
Everyone's upset. I put it in a provocative way to, you know, I have respect for strings, you know.
Yeah, I really like Fiddler. I like having a character who is so much more realistic to me, or like more, grounded is the way to do it. So he's great.
Mhm.
Followed incredibly closely, of course, by Tahoe, who has my heart.
Interesting. Aj,
Did India
you've read the
freeze
first
again?
two books.
India froze again.
Oh, bummer. Yeah, so I've now read all the books, like I said. If you haven't listened to the AJ Catches Up episode, that's 2 episodes ago now, so you can hear my thoughts on Gardens of the Moon and Deadhouse Gates. I think this is now reinforced, I think, from reading Gardens of the Moon. I think I'm going to go with Perrin.
Interesting.
I think Perrin is a great character from the beginning. I love his small arc before he just gets absolutely fucking murdered in the very beginning of Gardens of the Moon.
It's so good that he gets killed so early in that book.
Yeah, and then I really love. We've now started reading Bone Hunters, so I guess slight spoilers for the beginning of Bone Hunters. Perrin's in it, and he's kind of got a new vibe, and I really love that vibe because the vibe he brings to the beginning of Bone Hunters is like why I love trolls so much, and like why I love, the people that are older than time, because of the way they talk in like semi-cryptic parables, like. So Perrin's really giving me those vibes early on in Bone Hunters. So it was close though. I do love Trull, and I do think Lorne is my favorite character that I've been introduced in the last month. Lorne is so good, but that's neither here nor there, I suppose.
Peter, you're gonna be the one person who picks a non-introduced in Gardens of the Moon character or a non-Malazan character.
Joke's on you, baby. I'm picking Crocus.
Yeah.
Not Malazan though. That's something.
The thing is, I like Crocus a lot out of just like a pure love for the character, but I don't think, like, I think I have to talk about Felicin because I think out of the first 5 books, I think of her story arc as the one that, I don't know, I think she's one of the standout characters for this series, and I just think I would be remiss if I don't talk about her. So I feel like, I don't know, I would pick Felicin. But the thing is, the reason I said Crocus is because he's like fun to read about, and when you read Crocus, you're like, I enjoy seeing him and those characters, you know. But
Yeah.
I don't like Felicin isn't necessarily a fun character, but I think she's very well written, and I really like her story, you know.
Yeah.
So
Someone asked if this is being recorded. Oh, AJ
Yep.
just responded.
Yeah, there will be an
Enjoy.
archived of this stream, however long it takes Twitch to process an archived stream. I don't actually know. And then tomorrow I'm going to upload this video to YouTube, and then I'm going to cut like the first 10 minutes or whatever when we weren't actually on the stream, and then post the audio to our feed as well for people who want the raw audio experience.
The audio experience. Raw and uncut.
Okay, I hate that, actually.
AJ, did you get India? I don't know if India's in this room with us. Do you see us and hear us, India?
No, she's here.
I only
Yeah.
see her on the Twitch.
interesting.
Oh, I don't see her on OBS. No, that's
I'm
just-
trying to
that's
figure out
just
my
a problem.
connection issues.
I don't know if it's your internet or if it's just the thing, because the program we're using is a little iffy sometimes. But,
Is this what streamers use? Because it's the jankest looking shit. I did not know. Is this what like?
this? I don't want to get too into it because nobody else can see it. But it's a really cool tool that this one guy made, and it's free. And it does a lot. And like if we were all hardlined in to like an Ethernet connection, the latency is like 0. It's immediate. It's very, very good. But I
Nice,
imagine
nice.
we're all on
AJ,
Wi-Fi.
I'm actually in Japan though.
Yeah, and that's
So-
the thing too. Pete's in Japan, so like the fact that this is working at all.
And also, I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm on my desktop, so whatever.
Well, Josh.
I am hardlined in. Also, apparently, someone says we are.
Yeah. I know.
Streaming Paper Mario.
Yeah, I last time on
All
this
right.
on my channel a couple weeks ago, I streamed Paper Mario, and
The newest one.
No, the original on N64. I got a
Oh.
little USB
Incredible.
to an RCA to USB capture card, so I can stream.
I actually,
All
thought,
right.
I actually thought the original was the GameCube one. Is that not the case?
No, baby, N64. You gotta play the original.
Never
All
had
right,
an- never had an
in-
N64.
Oof.
India, thus far, who is your least favorite character?
Oh fuck. Hello.
Thus far, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Thus far, my least favorite character, this is a tough one, is
This one's the easiest shit for me.
Calor.
Hmm.
Fuck that guy.
That's a good pull.
What a fucker.
Yeah. I'm ready. Can I go, Pete?
Sure, bro.
Fear. Fuck Fear Sangar. All my homies hate Fear.
Friendship
India,
with fear.
there's a
ended.
India, there's a question for you. One of my favorite moments of the show was your turnaround on the Chain of Dogs. Now on to book 6. Has that sequence any new feelings for you?
No, that was a really that whole ending was just fire. So I was not expecting it because I hated that whole book. It was the most boring, slow, annoying, disinteresting book that I've read like in this series so far. I was so bored. So bored. Once that ending came, that was shocking. Memories of Ice was really, really, really good too, though. So I don't think it's
The highest compliment you can be paid.
We were on least
Josh,
favorite.
Josh, you
Yeah.
said Fear.
Yeah,
Someone
Fear.
was talking about Fear, that we were too hard on him or something. But
Yeah.
I stand
Like,
by. I
yeah.
stand by the Fear.
Yeah.
Here's that guy who's like, we're gonna jump off this bridge together. Woo! And then like the first people jump off and Fear's like, whoa, I don't know. And then he doesn't jump off. Like, no. You gotta commit.
yeah, Fear sucked.
Yeah, I
Totally.
don't know. The longer I sit with it, I think the more I don't know. Iron Bars 13. I was the one defending Fear in the Discord.
You're free to your opinion.
Opinions are not fact.
Fear is I don't know, so interesting, and definitely.
I don't think I don't think he's the worst dude.
I don't
Do you
think
know
he's
what I
the
mean? In the
worst, yeah.
series, not the worst dude.
Yeah. But yeah, to Iron Bar's point in the Discord, they were talking about how it's just kind of like, or I remember I started thinking about like, well, everybody around him, it would take so much for him to like be the dissenting voice, and like if I were in that position, I definitely wouldn't be that dissenting voice. You know what I mean? So like I get it in that respect, I guess, but like just to have Troll the entire time is just like, hey, this is bad, and he was like, no, it's not. It's just really frustrating, but I definitely don't think he's the worst dude.
Josh was, which is just, Bone Hunter's just a different vibe. We're vibing on a different wavelength, and it's just, a welcome change of pace. For me, I would say my least favorite character. I gotta be honest with. Oh, do you know what? It's an easy one. It's Karsa Orlong. The fuck that dude. And I gotta be honest. It's funny because we are really just now getting to the Karsa Orlong I dislike the most. House of Chains Karsa is kind of a different thing. If anything, I like Karsa in House of Chains.
You cannot say that because you don't like Karsa in House of Chains.
I don't like him in House of Chains, but compared to what Karsa's doing in other books, I like him more there, So that is my official take. Although I also don't like Whiskey Jack, as I've established. So
sure.
Enough.
You get that name out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Somebody brought Inaglio 13 brought up Pormqual. That dude can fucking suck it. That dude sucks so much.
There is like a tier of character that is like villain from an average like show on television, and Pormqual is in there, Corwell O'Dom is in there. Like they are like shitty, but they are also inconsequential outside of like the like triggering thing that they do. You know what I mean? That's why I feel like I can't like call Pormqual or Corwell O'Dom like my least favorite character, because they get in there, they do their dumb dick thing that they're gonna do that ruins the thing for all the good people, and then they're out of the thing. I don't care about them anymore.
I agree. I'm not super invested in them, especially compared to, I think, more nuanced and more interesting, like, antagonists or something in the story. Like, I ultimately view someone like Corwell O'Dom as kind of just like, I don't know. I kind of like Corwell O'Dom, to be honest, but I do somewhat agree with what you're saying, Josh.
I do just want to say...
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just thinking, like yesterday, the day before, about do you guys feel like the Talon storyline just is kind of one that really, to me, it really missed its mark, because it had such a cool chance to be like, we have what's his face, Baudelaine, Boda, the guy
Bowden.
who Bowden. Oh, I just needed to get the end of the letter.
Yeah,
off.
you were combining Bowden and
Talon.
Baudelaine.
Yeah, and he's protecting Felison, who is then being targeted by other members of the Talon. Like, maybe that comes back into play, but it really feels like we're so far removed from that storyline already that, like, I feel like we had a great chance for a meaningful, like, symbolism in that, and I did. If it was meant to be there, did not land with me. That says no comment. So,
yeah, I just want to say, Pokemon fan 451 says, "What's Pete's problem with Whiskey Jack? Is he too perfect?"
Yes.
There are some characters I feel that way. That is not my feeling about Whiskey Jack. So.
Sometimes Pete's like, this is good, bad. This is bad. That is how Pete is sometimes, I feel like, with things.
I don't follow that at all, but sure, I guess.
Sometimes things that are just inherently good, you're like, no, I've got to take a hardline stance. For the longest time, it was eggs.
But that's... I gotta say, it's something I think's funny since I am hosting and often asking you guys questions. I don't think a lot of people I don't know. I think it's become more increasingly clear that I'm a pretty negative person and don't like a lot of things, you know? But I think
wouldn't
for
say
a
you're-
while I only asked questions and didn't share my opinion that much, but mostly
Mhm.
I'm down on things, to be honest.
Battle Dad says Pete has a pocket full of Uno reverse cards.
Yeah, true.
All right. Excuse me.
Hey,
my
what
least-
did you do for your hair tonight? It looks really, really nice.
Wow. Thanks. I just put in some different products, Josh. Cut
yeah,
off all that fried, heat damaged hair, and here we are with these luscious curls.
They're very nice.
to be fair,
Thank
Josh, we
you.
only ever really see India at 7:30 in the morning on Sundays. So like,
And she is still flawless. But she's just extra flawless tonight.
Thanks, Josh.
As I wrestle my cat.
Golden Warrock said Iscarol Pust is pretty unlikable, and I have to fully disagree. I think.
Fuck you, Golden Walrus. This
Um,
girl plus till I die.
I did
agree,
say on the
Golden
episode
Walrus.
a while ago, Pust or bust, and I will stand by that.
Yeah. For like a millisecond when Pete asked that question, I was like, Pust. And I was like, but no. I love him.
Yeah. Pust or bust, baby. Pust or bust. Do you think,
And that-
Josh, that you've convinced Steve to release an epigraphs book?
I at least put it in his
Yeah.
head. And I gotta tell you, the schadenfreude I will experience if Steve releases an epigraphs book and dedicates it to India. Oh, I would never let it down.
Shit. Oh, man.
Would never recover.
Oh, that would be good. Iscarol Pust is up there with Krupp for characters that always make scenes better or worse, depending on who you ask. Yeah, I definitely think, and I think I'm in the train for Pust, Krupp, and Karsa. I'm on board for their scenes for all the same reasons, because they're gonna do the same shit every time, and I'm fully there for it every time. Let's see, we got anything else in here? Oh, I didn't say my least favorite character. I mean, I guess I kind of said Pormqual, but like, I guess it depends what you're saying, like what you're asking. Like, who is the least likable? If they were a real person, would I like them? Or is like, what character do I think is written the worst? And I don't feel like I can really speak to that second one because like, I'm just a dude, you know. I've never written a book in my life, so I'm not gonna smash anybody's character writing. But I think Nethbara, who is the noble from Deadhouse Gates, that Duiker throat kicks, sucks so
That
bad.
dude sucks. You're right.
So true.
Yeah,
So
and
good.
that's
That was
probably because
so
I'm
good.
fresh off that book, but man, that dude fucking blows. And Duiker kicked him in the neck, and I felt so vindicated in that moment. So, that's my least favorite character.
All right, I have a fun little question here.
Oh.
It's in a similar-ish vein. Josh, what's a storyline that, like, we're going into the second half that you're hoping to follow more, see more of, you know?
Ooh.
Like, what are we looking for?
I would love. So we got a little bit of Daruja Stan talk in the first part of Bone Hunters, and I would really like to get back to Genabacchus. I would love to see the storyline of the oh gosh, what's that race? The Barghast? Is that the race that we spend a lot of time with in Memories of Ice?
Yes, the Barghast.
I would love to get back to them and see what's going on with their whole, history reclamation.
With
I'd
Tool
love
and
to see
stuff.
I would love to see Darujistan, those fools, and how they're bringing the city back. Obviously, I want to see Corporal Baruch and Bulkalane if they're gonna be fucking about, I think that's where I would love to see is where we're going on Genabacchus.
Interesting.
If we ever get back, which odds are we won't.
Maybe.
I'm debating.
Thanks, bud.
It's not really a spoiler, but Pete did tell me something, Josh, that I feel like you do have a right to know.
What?
You
know.
told me that Bokalane and Corporal Broach do not come back.
Oh, yes.
What?
Yeah. So we just have to we have to read the rest of those short story collections.
I've gotta go. I
I know, I was devastated too. I didn't want to. I would feel bad if I knew and didn't tell you. You know.
Thank you.
Man, AJ, you could not host this show. I only know stuff that I'm not telling you.
Hey, Pete, I gotta say,
my primary role is not telling you stuff.
Hey, I gotta say, better you than me, baby.
Inge, what storylines are you hoping to follow through or see more of?
That's a good question. I feel like I've really just gotten my fill of all of them. So
the story's over, no follow-up.
No, I guess, like, I don't know. If I could explore Animander Rake a little more, that'd be cool. The Cotillion and Shadow Throne people, they're pretty cool as well. I'd like to go back more there, understand what went on there. That'd be cool. And I guess we'll probably find out more about Perrin now, so yeah.
Man, there's a lot of interesting stuff in the second half of the series, you know?
I know at the end we go some places, but that is all I know.
Anthony,
Okay.
how you feel?
I mean, I think India's right. I think Animander Rake is like Animander Rake, like Caladan Brood, like these characters that have like huge histories. I think they would be great to learn about. I don't think though that we are going to learn about them because I think that's kind of their point. Is that they're just like so, you know, huge and mythic and you know, whatever.
Do you ever feel like they're too mythic and big?
No, because I feel like they come in doses that are small enough that are like, you know, we get Caladan Brood for a lot of Memories of Ice, but he only smashes the earth into a mountain one time, you know? Like the rest of it, he's just a dude. Just kind of who's like disgruntled. So I think they're handled pretty well. And Animander Rake in Gardens of the Moon is like very mysterious and like sneaks around in the shadows and stuff. Or sorry, in the dark and stuff. But even then I wouldn't say he's really like, he's not portrayed like a god. He's just portrayed like this guy who has a lot of secrets and can turn into a dragon. You know?
Can turn into a dragon, you know, sends people to an eternal hellscape, you know, casual
sure,
non-god
but that's
shit.
but Dragnipur's like its whole own thing, and you got like Draconis, and you got all that stuff going on, you know.
You're right.
Oh,
You're right.
speaking of Draconis, I would love to learn more about Lady Envy.
Yeah, she's such a powerful presence in that third book, and then it's just like,
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I have a question that obviously, because I can't answer just this one, you know? But I will say this. I will segue us into this new thing. My favorite moment, rereading it thus far, you know? By far and a mile, it would not be this the first time I read the series. I would pick Capistan, I would pick Ending of Memories of Ice, something like this. Maybe the courtroom scene and then Midnight Tides. Favorite moment, Heborix, Jade Giant, fucking trip out dream time.
God.
You know? This is the shit.
Sure.
This is what I'm here for. Easily the best scene of the 5 books I've reread, for me rereading it. And there are other things in House of Chains I enjoyed rereading for similar kind of more reready reasons. So I really like that sequence is my segue into this question. India, what do you think maybe favorite moment we've had thus far?
I didn't hear any of that question.
What's your favorite moment thus far of the series?
Oh.
Oh.
I really, really liked the scene. Really, most scenes between it really vibed with the vibe and Silver Fox, I think her name was. Any of those scenes were my favorite scene. I really loved Doctor a lot. Well, both of them.
Interesting.
Why is that interesting? They were so good. So emotional.
I agree. They're super good. What do you think Silver Fox is doing now?
I don't know. Probably just like walking around with bone people.
It's a fair guess.
That is kind of
In
her vibe.
in the Bone Zone, vacationing.
Living her best life. I could only hope for her.
Do you think we'll see her again?
I hope so. Another good character, another one that I really liked. Definitely top 4.
Top 4.
Joshua Dean?
I do not know. I'm trying to rack my brain. There's so many wilds. Again, like there's so many parts of me that wants to just like name cool battle shit from the 3rd book, but I feel like that's a disservice to the whole series. Like it's tough. I mean, most impactful is definitely the ending of the Chain of Dogs. By far to me so far still is that scene of him being crucified and then them trying to shoot him in the head from the walls. So I guess I would go with that, I guess, because it's still like the one that still resonates the most. It's just like, wow, what a fucked up, crazy way to end a book.
Let me offer another one. For me, I think at the end of Deadhouse Gates, I really love the scene with Kalam and Lysine.
That scene.
Oh yeah.
I think the first time I read it, I was so aggravated he didn't murder her, and this just wasn't,
Same.
the whatever. But I think revisiting it, I think it's a really interesting conversation, and I think I really like reading about Lysine and having that moment between the two of them. And there's all this history that's kind of it's a very like a passive aggressive or it's a very knowing conversation in a lot of ways, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just dig the vibe.
Speaking of vibes, my fortune cookie says, "Now is the time to set your sights high and go for it."
I
Okay,
guess that's
so
vibes.
What are you setting your eyes high set?
Whoa.
Fuck me.
I'm not gonna answer that question. What I am gonna say is I would love Peter to tell the story of the best joke he has ever pulled, which was at our college dining hall and had to do with a fortune cookie. Do you remember it, Peter? You laughed for 10 minutes straight.
I do not remember this, but it sounds like me. What
Peter,
did I do?
Very, very carefully opened up my fortune cookie bag, and he managed to, with pinpoint accuracy, remove the fortune, so that when I came back to my seat, I opened it up and I went, "Oh man, there's nothing in my fortune cookie." And he went, "Isn't that unfortunate?" And then showed me the fortune that he had. And he laughed by himself for like 5 straight minutes.
That's
that's pretty good.
That's
pretty good if you ask Pete.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah. It is unfortunate.
You get fucking destroyed, Josh.
All right, Aj, do you want to pick a moment?
I don't know if it's it's not really a specific moment, but it's just all of Icarium at the end of Memories of Ice. Really, really, really hit me.
You mean Itcovian?
Itcovian. God damn it. Yeah. It clearly really hit me. No, but I love Itcovian as a character, and that ending to his arc was just yes, India, we know. That ending to his arc is just like really satisfying and really like sad, honestly. So that moment.
I just noticed that AJ has a like hyper vibes, such good lighting video for himself on the Twitch stream, which is not what we were seeing, and it just threw me
yeah,
off
you're
so
seeing
bad.
like my low res
It's
version.
so good.
Yeah, I'm using my
It's a nice camera.
I'm using
you
my
got.
partner's Canon 90D. She also set up. We've got a little thing to bounce the light here. I've got my regular office light is like kind of red, so it's kind of vibey anyway. And then back here, I don't know if
Josh,
anybody
here's a
noticed.
question.
Okay, fine.
No, fuck Peter. AJ, keep going.
I got my books. I got my Malazan books back here. I put them all up here so we could all see them. So.
Nice.
It does
Anyway.
look great. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're in
Josh, a
podcast mode.
question
You're trying to
came
push
in.
us forward.
Josh, a question came in from the chat. Thoughts on the Crimson Guard?
Cannot wait to learn more about them. They are. I don't know. It's like there are so many random forces in this universe that are like super powerful. But not many of them are kind of super powerful primarily because one of them is an immortal demigod. You know what I mean? Followed by a bunch of also hyper competent people. I don't know. I just thought they were very engaging. They were very down to earth. Iron Bars, even though he appears to be ancient, is very still like he doesn't talk like Khaled and Brood yet. So that's a win for me. You know, I like them.
India, here's a question for you. If India was running the podcast, what would it be about instead of Malazan?
Oh, it would definitely still be about Malazan.
Really?
Just kidding. Gotcha. It would probably be, I don't know. I think probably some like affirmations and awareness
Yeah.
podcast.
Let's make that podcast.
Yeah, I
baby.
definitely have some positivity, you know.
Let's talk. Let's talk. Let's shoot some production ideas. There's no bad ideas, you know. Let's just spitball. Let's go. I'm down. You have my email.
That
so.
works for me. Yeah, I'll definitely. I'll set up a business meeting with you.
Thank you.
I mean, we've spitballed reading Twilight on the
Yeah.
show, so I'm just saying we've talked about it.
I am expert level in Twilight. I also had like you know when you unlock a hidden memory in your head.
Mm.
Sure.
I read a book series that I believe was a fantasy book series in high school, or like maybe like going into high school. It was called, and I just want to confirm if anybody. It was definitely.
Like, what's the name, bro?
I just had to Google it and I found it. It's called The Mortal Instruments. And
Oh yeah.
They made that into a movie the other year.
I read all of those books and totally forgot about it. So I actually, and where I can recognize it may be a little more on the teen romance side. There definitely were elves in that book.
Mm.
There definitely were elves in that book.
That's awesome.
I think that book was very popular. By
It
the
was
way.
very popular. Yeah, very popular.
It was
Also, I just
so
want to say,
good.
if we did a Twilight series, it would be difficult because there would be two experts. Because I too have read all of the Twilight novels
You know,
So-
Josh, how many times
I've-
did you read them?
once, but Pete and I did go to Forks, so we've been in the town.
We have been to Forks.
We did go into the very sad Twilight gift shop that still exists there.
Oof. That is sad. I mean, it's not sad that it's there. It's just, I imagine it's not super crowded like it used to be.
No.
Yeah, actually, it's a very interesting thing that you should read more about. There's like, anyway, I shan't do a bad summary of it, but
Sure.
I've read a whole thing about it. It was very interesting.
I just want to. I love this question from Pokemon Fan 4571. I love the AJ Pete rivalry. How legit is it, or do you guys play it up for the show? I gotta say, I guess we've been friends for such a long time, and the rivalry that we may have now is nothing compared to what we had when we were children. I don't read any of our friendship as a rivalry. Any of this back and forth that we do, I suppose. But that's very funny that it comes across like that.
I think there's an element where, for good or worse, sometimes I'm like very focused on driving the show forward, and I'm like, we gotta go, let's move. And like, I think AJ sometimes is more just like, well, like, we're good, we can like hang out. So I think it just, I don't know, it happens when we're in production meetings too. I think we have differences of opinions about stuff, but I don't actually think there's a rivalry. It's all good-hearted jest, you know?
Pete comes in with these really heady ideas for like narrative arcs for the seasons and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I want the mics to kind of sound a little better. Like, those are what our production meetings are. It's very funny, but yeah. So that's the rivalry. If it's played up on the show, I mean, it's really just because we're forced to talk to each other like on a microphone, Yeah. Otherwise, a lot of the time, I will kind of just like sit in silence and just like listen.
Yeah, Boromir brings up Wheel of Time, and I have almost identically done what they have said. I have read the first 5 of them and have forgotten, all but the broadest strokes of that story,
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I'll return to it, but I don't know. I just don't think I actually have an appetite to read another series of giant books,
Yeah.
That's my hot take.
Yeah, I've always like big series is never my thing, and like big fantasy books were super never my thing. But a lot of people I've been talking to since doing this podcast have been saying that Shadows of the Apt is really good by Adrian Tchaikovsky. He wrote Children of Time and Children of Ruin, but he also wrote a 10-book fantasy series about bug kingdoms, which sounds very cool. So that might be next on, or may be somewhere on my reading list, just for like the next big series I'll read, if there is one.
Honestly, I'm just in this weird position where pretty much mostly I read Japanese books, and Malazan is now the only English thing I read. So
yeah, Peter, tell us about Yurukampu. How much of a,
what about Yurukampu?
Just how much of a great time that you're having with it.
Yurukampu is a great manga. There's a charming anime adaptation. I think there's 2 seasons of it. The manga is very relaxed. If you enjoy camping, it's a slice of life story. So,
really sad. I tried to get into it, but the specific art style they chose is like the one type of art style that I've never been able to get into with anime.
Interesting.
It's too chibi.
It's too chibi, he says.
Interesting.
It's too chibi.
What is that?
But,
Cutesy.
yeah. It's just
like
word.
little body, big head, big eyes, just like
that was it. Yeah, like when the bodies aren't human sized, I'm like.
Have I read any Murakami? I have read some Murakami, but I haven't read any of it in Japanese. I think that's above my current language ability, but I'm gonna try and read something later this year, I think.
That's fair. I have his conversations with the Boston Symphony conductor in the other room, and I mean it's pretty hard to read just in English. They're both so smart.
Yeah, especially something like that conversation book. I think the prose would be different, but anywho's, all right, let's talk show. Do we have any other Malazan stuff we want to get to?
I mean, we started Bone Hunters. It's good.
Well, listen, if anyone has any more Malazan questions, you can put them in the chat and we'll gladly answer them.
With India, here's one. Sorry. With India bringing up Mortal Instruments, what's each of your favorite fantasy series outside of
Okay.
Hmm.
Korab Bolanthanulus.
That second word had a U in it, and there is not a U.
My favorite other fantasy series. Tough question. My first thought is I want to say Dune. I often use it as a favorite book stand-in. That doesn't count as a fantasy series. Love a Song of Ice and Fire. Maybe I'm gonna say Chronicles of Narnia. That's just the
I knew
truth.
that was
you know?
your answer. I knew that was your answer.
Come at me.
You
I
love
know
the
it's not
silver
the thing
chair,
people want
baby.
me to say, but I fucking love Aslan, baby. Take me to Aslan's kingdom. So that's Peter's answer.
Can I have a tie answer?
Sure.
But I read the Redwall series so many times. They're my favorites. Still planning on getting a quote from it tattooed on my body the next couple months.
Cool.
Pretty excited. Love those books. But as an adult, really vibed hard as shit with the Magician series, to the point that I refuse to watch the show specifically because they aged the characters up, and it infuriates me so much. And someone on the Discord got very mad at me for that, but I will die on that hill.
Josh, that's interesting because
really vibed hard with those books.
Because we talked about that last Magician's book, and you were kind of cool on it. Or was it the second one? Our first try at making a podcast with Pete. You brought.
I think it was the first one, and by the third is just such a bizarre book, and it really just is like, hey, depression, am I right? And in a way that like is super not apparent until you're like through, and then you're like, oh god, that was heavy. And I loved it.
That's cool. I don't really read series. I've said before that this is like my first. It's like my first series and my first fantasy series. Like I've read Name of the Wind. I'm not picking up the second one because I know that the third one is not out or is maybe not coming out, and I'm really happy with how the first one ended. That's fine. But I'm a big fan of Grady Hendrix. He's a horror author. He's written two of my favorite books, Horror Store and My Best Friend's Exorcism, are both extremely, extremely good horror books. My Best Friend's Exorcism made me cry, and Horror Store is about a haunted IKEA. So, like, what's not to love?
That's incredible.
And that's the thing, too. They have such silly premises, but they lull you in with this, like, sense of, like, it's kind of, like, light and silly, and then all of a sudden there's this really graphic scene of, like, someone being ripped in half or something. It's just truly, truly bonkers. So, anyway.
So, I just kind of want to move into talking about, like, the podcast, you know? So, like, India.
Yeah.
Like, we've been doing this podcast for 2 years now.
Totally.
You know? After Steve got canceled.
I would say canceled is pretty strong verbiage there.
Strong verbiage. India, so like what's this, 2 years of doing the podcast? How's that been? What's that like? Tell me, bro.
Yeah, so 2 years of doing the podcast. It's been good. I love the podcast. But the reading, as you all know, has been tough for your girl in. Mostly because I'm not used to reading things that need me to like remember key things that happened 700 pages ago. But so doing that for 2 years has been, in the beginning, I was very resistant. But now I've accepted my fate as in this to win this. And I've really had to work on prioritizing reading. That's really my biggest issue, is like with work and my Etsy, like even
Plug
now,
that
like
Etsy,
prioritizing
baby.
reading is going to be. If anybody wants a glitter tumbler, hit up my Etsy. But yeah, even that, like, getting everything together for that, getting everything together for work, it's hard to find time to want to sit down and read it. But overall, I would. I wouldn't say like I like it, because I know that I say that because sometimes I'm feeling crazy, but I've definitely grown to tolerate it, and understand that it's more of a like I have to do it, whereas before I would just wait until the night of and read 300 pages, and it was just like, okay, I'm not going to sleep so I can be prepared for the podcast in the morning. So
AJ still does that to this day.
Listen.
Me and Josh are the only people who read the book before the night before.
I don't read the whole thing the night before. I only read some of it the night before.
Yes.
And if you have 6 days and 3 chapters, you read 1 chapter every other day and you give yourself a day break in between.
Josh, come on. Have you ever done anything?
Yeah, I
you have to do it all at once or not do it at all, you know?
Oh, I'm sorry.
My laptop's gonna die, so I will be right back.
Okay. We could take a hot little break for a minute if you need to, like. Nope. All right. Well, there she goes.
She's gone. I did want to plug.
Thank you, Battle Dad. That is teacher logic.
Josh texted
Teacher
me
logic,
last night
baby.
and this morning. He's like, "Hey, don't forget to tweet about the live stream because I know people will forget."
Yes, and not just the people will forget. I knew that if I don't stay on AJ, love AJ, but no guarantee that tweet's going out pre 6:45 p.m.
You're right, babe. Hey, you're right. That's funny.
I wanted to plug, if people are looking for a fun manga that they read, Yokohama Kaidashu Kiko. Highly suggest it. So that's Peter's quick plug.
I don't know. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just.
I don't know if the manga's any good, but I did just finally get into I got reincarnated as a slime anime, and let me tell you, I have been searching for an anime that nails that genre, and I for some reason I bounced off of the slime one after an episode like ages ago, and I finally got back in, and it nails the overpowered protagonist genre so well in a way better way than Overlord, because the character's unlikable. Way better than the Secret Dungeon Only I Know, because that got haremy and pervy so fast. And this one just really rides the line. It's really good. So 10 out of 10.
Nice. I like Cowboy Bebop.
For the record, the manga is about a cafe in a kind of post-apocalyptic world, and it's about a woman who runs the cafe.
What's it called again, Pete?
Yokohama Kaidashi Kiko. I can send you a link.
I got it.
Wait, Josh, you have to watch
found it?
Cowboy Bebop. It's so
Yeah.
good.
I tried. I watched like 4 episodes. I've got this thing where if it's, you know how Pete sometimes hate things that good. Josh can't get into things. Like I've in the last week I've been yelled at because I haven't watched Castaway, Forrest Gump, The Matrix, Terminator, any of the Alien, like any things that are like cultural touchstones. I bounce off of. Don't get it. Don't.
Sure,
like it.
Josh. What if I ask you to make a podcast about it with me? Will you watch it then? It's only 24 episodes.
Probably not.
Josh, let me ask you this. What's 2 years of the podcast?
It's the girl with the scooter. I've started this before. It's good.
It's great. It's 2 years of the podcast. What's that look like, baby?
I think my overwhelming thought is anger that you live in Japan and that we have to record at 7 a.m. on Sundays. But besides that, riding high, loving life.
I have such a great memory now of when I was like, yeah, well, I think I'm just gonna I was like, would the podcast even change if I move back to America?
And I yelled at you, yeah, we could record fucking whenever. We'd be on the same coast.
Well, the first season we were like, oh, well, we got a couple hours on like a Tuesday night. We'll record for like, a little bit and then we'll be done. And now now I actually do prefer kind of Pete living in Japan because it forces us to have a consistent schedule, which is really, really great for production purposes.
Yeah. Aj, do you want to do a little podcast retrospective?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 2 years ago, almost 2.5 at this point. BRB, like fully BRB. So 2.5 years ago at this point, Pete and I were going for a walk around his neighborhood. And he was like, I had this idea for a podcast. I was like, sure, I'm fully on board. And then, you know, we workshopped it and we recorded it and it was good. And then we started doing it. And immediately, I think in the first 2 weeks, we got 450 listens. And we were like knocked our socks off. Like we thought maybe we'd get 100 in the first, you know, year of doing the show. You know, fast forward to the end of Midnight Tides, that episode has, I think, over 4,000 listens, and we hit like 2,000 in 2 weeks or more, which is just absolutely insane. And also at the time when we started the show, I was brand new to producing podcasts. I had been on college radio all throughout my college career, so I had like an audio production background, but I hadn't done any like content creation, I guess. So for this show to be my first thing to work on and to have it take off the way it did, I don't know, has been really like validating and feels really good. And to have a community that asked us to like, hey, we want to send you money, like, can you start a Patreon? And to like have a Discord that has, I don't know, almost 500 people in it now or something. Not, you know, active at all times, but just to have a community of people that are like, just to have a community of people who have consistently surprised at least Pete and I every single time. Because every time we do something like, oh, we'll start a Discord, maybe 20 people will join, and then the first month we had like 200. We're like, oh, we'll start a Patreon, maybe we'll hit like $20 in the first, you know, couple of months, whatever. That's good enough for us as long as we're doing something. And we hit like $300 in the first month. Like, just consistently, this show has exceeded my expectations in so many ways, and it's helped me grow, and it's helped me create these great relationships with these three great people that I do the show with. So it's been super rewarding in a lot of ways.
I think as a result, on a production side, I think AJ feels this way. It has basically made us feel like we are behind at all times, you know,
Yeah.
Because when I pitched Josh and India about these books and they should read them and do the show, I said distinctly to India, I was like, well, maybe after 1 year, we would have like 100 people listen to a new episode, you know? I said the same thing to Josh because I really was like, hey, we're going to do this thing, but you should be prepared. Probably no one's going to listen, you know? So when actually people listened and then, you know, it's great, but it does make me, it makes me always feel like the show's like 4 steps behind where it's like, I don't know. It just is a lot. I feel like we've been playing catch up for a long time. I still basically feel that way. So, the show, am I right?
Yeah.
So let's double around. Here's some questions that came in during our little podcast time. Favorite Malazan culture? Tistandi, Bargas, Darujistan, Tistider. This.
What is Peter holding?
Just like a list of notes I took.
Oh my god, okay, thank you. I could not tell.
All right, AJ, why don't you pick?
Sure. Whoa, hello, India. You just got real weird on this actual stream. Hold on. There we go. I really like the Jag Hut for a couple reasons, because I think they have my 2 favorite character traits. They talk like no real person in real life has ever talked, and they're big and strong. Two things I love. And I just think, I don't know, we don't know a lot about the Jag Hut culture, but what we do know is pretty interesting. You know, the idea of what's their whole thing? They're like not subservient, but they're just kind of like going with the flow until one of them decides not to. And I think that's just, I don't know, I just like that culture a lot, and every time the Jag Hut come up, I get a little bit excited because there's still a lot of mystery around it, and I like that.
Josh, if you had to pick one.
The Wiccan.
Wiccan.
They are the steps tribes people done to perfection. I love them so much.
Interesting. Inch, if you had to pick a favorite race, culture.
Tisty Andy.
Okay.
Why?
You're asking. Because I think Corlat was that. And I liked her.
Yeah. Well, I'm choosing Letherus
cool.
because I fucking love
See.
greed, baby. Greed is good. You know, never forget it. Bada bing, bada boom.
Is that your
That's
actual?
so needy to think.
Is that your actual pick?
That's my actual pick. I'm picking Letherus.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but that seems too much like. I like the culture that is closest to our own.
Hey, listen. When you nailed it on the first try, there's no shame.
That's true, baby. We got it in one. So here's a question back to kind of the podcast. Is there plans for us after we finish the 10 very big books? Josh, what do you think? We put down the crippled god. What do you think?
I do plan on cutting all social media as soon as the last episode airs. And I'm never going to interact with anyone online ever again, is my game plan. And I'll just be I'll be the podcaster that got away, you know?
Wow.
Is that true?
Cut and run.
No. Addicted to social media. I'm a fucking millennial. Like,
Nice.
I would wither away to nothing.
Inge, what do you think? We put down the crippled god? Pick up Gardens of the Moon, start the reread version of the show, baby?
Oof.
I
10
just
very
got
big
like
redux.
chills thinking about that. Honestly, never. Never ever.
We'll give it a couple
You don't
years.
think there's
we'll
an
see.
11th book we could read?
I think that there is perhaps something else we could do. We'll figure it out. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
I think we could find at least something else that has 10 very big components, you know?
I mean, that shadows.
10 very big commandments.
Oh my
Oh.
god. Let's do a deep dive on the fucking Bible, dude. Let's go.
The Bible.
Damn.
Wow, bro. That'd
Each
be a
episode we
development.
come with a different version of the Bible. Oof. And we strictly read
The thing
text.
is, I don't know what the audience crossover for our current audience and a show about the
definitely
Bible would
believe
be,
that
you know?
That's true.
Listen, it sounds like kind of fun, but I don't know anything about it, and I feel like the Beatitudes. Is this something? You know?
Yeah.
Attitudes.
I went to a Catholic school for 13 years.
Yeah.
I've
Oh,
been
I'm
well
well
to church
versed.
I've been to church less than 10 times in my life. I don't know shit about
Yeah,
it.
Josh, I went through CCD and I'm going to
Yeah.
heaven. Don't worry. But Josh
good.
certainly is. Josh is certainly going to hell and knows nothing about our Lord and Savior. And fucking, it's Easter tomorrow, baby. He has
Yeah.
risen. You know,
He has
it's Easter for you
risen.
right now, isn't it?
I was speaking to you, but yes, it's Easter for me.
Happy
I
Easter.
went to mass before this
Come
live
and
stream,
see.
Did you?
Did you really?
Midnight
No,
mass?
of course I did not.
I wasn't sure. I gotta say, just yesterday, Peter, HR and I passed a friend's school, and
Okay.
I did explain Quakerism badly.
Oh, you
to her.
told her about the Quakers, baby.
Yeah,
They don't like to punch.
Yeah.
And that's
that
it.
was the only thing HR got out of it.
They don't like to punch. They don't like to talk. They don't like clergy.
I said that big on meditating.
They like to sit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Quaker shout out.
Quaker shout out. All right, what else we got?
The Carcana stuff, yeah. So I know, me and AJ have always said, I think, well, we've always said this, or I don't know, maybe I haven't, whatever.
We've talked about it.
All right.
It's like India said, we're crossing that bridge when we come to it. You know, like that's just, I don't know. That's like a while from now. you know, we're looking at like 2 years or so until we finish Crippled God. Like a year and a half, year or so. So, will we read Carcanis? Will we go read the Stormlight Archives? Who knows? But
I did not know the Stormlight Archives were going to be a 10-book series. Also, AJ, what are you sipping?
It's Terrapin Luau. Oh, this camera. It's guava, passion fruit, and orange IPA.
I wanted a beer so bad tonight, but I didn't have the time. But after getting diagnosed that I'm not dying.
Sorry, bud.
Haircut, Josh?
Oh my gosh, Captain Britain says. Captain Britain says your next podcast, Baker on Quakers.
God, so good.
That's good.
It's pretty good.
It's fucking me up that two people have called me Baker on this because that is exclusively what my students call me. So if we can stick to Josh so that I don't scold you.
Now, Josh, you did just say, don't call me a thing to people online, which is just an exclusive invitation for them to call you it.
It's true, it's true.
If I read... Oh, I would definitely reread the series to get a dedication, just by the way.
Oh, yeah.
If that's what it took. Josh, have you read any of those Stormlight or any of the Brandon Sanderson stuff?
No, I took a big old break from high fantasy for a good while. I got more into urban fantasy stuff for a good bit, right when that started coming out. This was like my first dive back in besides the Traitor Sun cycle, which I burned out with on 4th book. So, but no, not read the Sanderson stuff.
Yeah, I picked up the 4th one, didn't get through it. I just think I was spending too much time reading this. Like, just too many other big books. But no, I think there's supposed to be 10, but that's like another thing. I mean, that dude writes books fast, but I guess we're like...
He really does.
But we're still like, even if he's writing fast, we're still a super long time out from that series being anywhere near finished.
Oh, shit. That's right. I do have Mistborn. I was like, what's the Sanderson thing I keep fucking putting off? It's Mistborn. It's right next to me at this moment. I've yet to read it.
But there's also a whole other thing with that series. I shan't get into it, but there's like other books that are somewhat related to it. You know?
I'm on his Wikipedia. They're in the Cosmere.
The Cosmere.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. AJ, what do you think we should read after this? Just do Carcanis?
Honestly,
go read Twilight?
I think Twilight is inevitable. You caught me right when I took a bite of banana bread.
I was wondering what that was. You got banana bread? Oh.
Yeah, baby. We've had these bananas that have been going black for days, and then my roommate finally. I was gonna make banana bread, and I just kept not. And my
Mark
roommate
made banana
was
bread?
Huh?
Does Mark do a lot of baking?
Mike.
Same thing.
Not a lot of baking, but I mean he bakes once in a while. I baked cookies last week. He baked banana bread. You know, we just had old bananas that we needed to make. So, but I mean, I don't know. Part of me feels like we could move on to another series. Part of me feels like maybe we could take a break for like 6 months or something. But I think, I don't know, I think Carcanis could be good to do, or if we wanted to do like a proper reread of the Ice books, maybe. But Pete, I know you're reading the Ice books right now with Iskar Jarak. That episode will be out next month. So I don't know, yeah, probably Carcanis, I guess. But like you said, we've talked about it a couple of times, and every time it's like, well, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of decisions to be made about it. I think it all falls kind of to me on the future of the show about a crux about like little stream. Look at us getting into it, you know. But it falls into this crux where like our show is so specific. And I think the question is whether you like we're just continue to talk about Malazan forever, because there's like you could read the books, you could talk about Ice, you could talk about Carcanis, you could talk about the new Witness stuff, or whether you would try and do something else with the show. Yeah. So I think that's kind of the question about after you do it, especially since our show is kind of premised on reading 10 books, you know?
Part of me would like to do
I do understand how there's like a question mark there, you know?
Yeah. Part of me would like to do something else But then I just feel like there's this like big blind spot. Like we're just like leaving Carcanus and the Witness stuff like in the dust. Especially now that we're doing this Ice series, you know? Like now that we're reading the Encounter and Esselmont books, I feel like we have no choice but to do the Carcanus stuff.
Yeah, but as we said, that's like 2 years-ish out, year and a half or so. So we shall figure it out. All right. Any other questions? Any other things? I feel like we covered a lot of ground. Any other?
I think we've covered a lot.
thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, we've done our general like going into Bone Hunters thoughts at the end of Midnight Tides, but now that we've kind of started Bone Hunters, I'm very excited. Like we say a couple of times in the first 2 episodes, we've already recorded the first 2, that reading the beginning of this book is just like seeing all your friends and just having like a big nice group hug and just like oh, how's it been going, guys? How you doing? So I mean, I think that's set us up really, really good for chapter 7, which we have to read next. But yeah, Battle Dad. The chapter is our next episode, which we will be recording in a couple of weeks.
Yes, the show will remain bi-weekly. And about the TV thing, my feeling is basically it's an unfilmable thing. I think you could do an animated version of it. That's what people talk about, but I don't think you could ever film it live action. And also, something I think always gets misplaced about that is I feel like a lot of these books are very, I don't know, some of them could be adapted to film. I don't really feel like all of them could.
Yeah,
you know?
I feel like you would need to like, I don't think you could do like a multi-season thing. Like I think you would need to just pick and choose stuff to like one storyline to focus on, and like that's the series. Like you couldn't get into everything, and like certain characters would be left out, certain events would be left out. Like you could make a series where you only follow, like you could make a series about the bridge burners from Darujistan to Kapistan, and I don't know what else.
That's what I was thinking.
Like,
yeah,
like
you would just have to pick. And I know Steve
Yeah.
said, and when he and Elmon did the treatment of it, they talked about just following Tavor, because like, I mean, there's 3 million words. You're not going to fit it all in, you know, and most shows get canceled, you know. So like the idea that they would make a show, they would get to make all of it, is like such an impossible thing. So
yeah, it's ironic Steve doesn't like anime because that medium is perfect for something like Malazan. Yeah, honestly,
that's how I feel, bro. You know.
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think Steve's against anime. We just have to open his eyes, you know.
Yeah. I think his son reached out to us and said he only had him watch Gundam or something, right?
Yeah.
No,
something.
but then he emailed and said that he also had watched Spirited Away, Perfect Blue, or you know, some other like
Perfect
more
Blue.
substantial
Wow.
works, you know. I will
a Castlevania
say,
style Malazan show would be interesting. Sorry, continue.
no, I agree. I think you could do a really great anime, but that's just my opinion. I just want to get on the record, though. I know this is not super Malazan related. I believe the Wheel of Time television show is going to be a disaster, is Peter's official prediction, you know? Although The Witcher was very successful,
Which was
surprised me.
so good.
I think we should talk about the second season when it comes out on the podcast.
Wait, I've never seen it at all.
Oh, it's got Henry
on Netflix.
Cavill. He's hunking it up. Woo.
We should talk about it, Inge. We could make a
it.
podcast.
I also haven't watched it, so I would be down.
Sounds like a podcast.
There we go. We did it.
Boom.
All I was gonna say is
Welcome to this production meeting of 10 very big books.
nice.
This is generally
all
how
I
it
was
goes.
gonna
We
say
talk
is
about nothing for an hour and a half, and then at the end, we're like, oh, by the way.
I just feel like after Game of Thrones got very popular, because Hollywood's full of idiots, they took the lesson like, I guess people love dragons and swords, which I just don't think is true. There's lots of failed fantasy stuff, you know? Like, it just doesn't have that big of a mainstream appeal. So I think the idea of launching a Wheel of Time TV show and like, you know, Amazon spending all of that money on Lord of the Rings TV show, you know? I just don't think they're like, I think they're going to hit, but I don't think they're going to hit Game of Thrones big, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to become the biggest show on television.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones was so good until it wasn't.
Until it wasn't.
Until it
yeah.
wasn't.
Exactly.
Oh,
it's
Peter,
exactly
Peter,
that.
you're the reason I watched Game of Thrones. Remember?
Yeah. That was during during season 3 or 4, like at the height of going into the Red Wedding.
Mm.
Yeah.
If not for Game of Thrones, Peter would not have talked to me as quickly as he did.
That's so funny.
Which, yeah.
I watched like a whole season in one day in Peter's room one day.
Yeah.
So
That was a
fun.
great time.
Something I think
And
about all
it was a similar experience because I had read all the books, so I was one of those people, so I kind of knew where the show was going. But I do think it's funny. I agree, Inge, how the show was once so relevant, and now it is it almost never happened. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just evaporated like that, you know?
Yeah.
That's pop culture, baby.
Chew
But
'em
some
up and
pop culture
spit 'em
stuff
out.
leaves the footprint, you know?
Yeah. Something with Game of Thrones I always think about is, Pete, you and I had a friend in high school who was reading those books in I don't know, our sophomore or junior year. And she was like, yo, this series is really good. You guys should read them. And we were like, nah, fuck off. And then 2 years later, the HBO series came out. And we were like, oh man, this is great.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Dead on. But hindsight's 2020 on that one. But yeah. I really love those books. You know, I think I read those books before I read Malazan, and I still think they're awesome, amazing books. So, but I haven't revisited them in a really long time. So,
Yeah.
maybe one day, if there's a 6th book that comes out,
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
maybe. All right. Anything else? Now we did a little just trail
Which
off
series
another
is
stuff.
better,
Which
Pete?
series is better? Call it right
Divide
here.
the fans.
It's tough. I think they're so different. I think I have a more childhood love for A Song of Ice and Fire, even though I was in high school when I read it. Thoughts on Space Jam 2. I do want to talk about that trailer.
Wait, I thought did it come out?
Yeah, dude.
It came out. You should watch the trailer.
I'll be back.
But no.
Jesus Christ. That was funny.
But Malazan is such a different kettle of fish. I think I prefer talking about Malazan, but maybe A Song of Ice and Fire is better. But I don't know. I don't think I would really compare them. You know. Yeah, so I think it's tough because I don't really get to talk about my opinion about the series as a whole. I think Malazan's trying to do so much more than A Song of Ice and Fire. It is such a wildly unhinged idea, and Steve's just putting everything on Earth into the books, and I think as a result, some of the stuff works, some of the stuff doesn't. And I think George R.R. Martin is more consistent. I think a lot of the stuff in that series works, and I really love those books. But I do think their scope and scale is way, way, way smaller, which is kind of funny because I do think those books also have a huge scale. And if anything, it kind of gotten out of hand and out of control in the 4th and 5th book. But I mean, the scale compared to Malazan is small, because Malazan's scale is just fucking out of this world. So I think, in some ways, The Song of Ice and Fire is the cleaner series in that regard. But I mean, I like both series a lot, so it's not, it's not like I'm really trashing one.
Neat.
Inge, did you watch the Space Jam trailer?
No. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I also haven't watched it. I have no interest at all.
Are you kidding me?
No.
I only respect Josh. He heard about it. He instantly left the call to watch, and that is what it takes, you know?
Look, all I'm going to say is not my lullaby, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I do not care about that in the slightest.
You heard it here first. Because you're like a true fan.
Yeah, right. I just kept seeing
All right, well.
screenshots of the Clockwork Orange people in Space Jam 2, and that seems weird.
I was watching this trailer and I don't know who wants this. Who wanted this?
Yeah, that's what I asked a couple of my other friends who this is for, and they were like, "Oh, it's for '90s kids," and I was like, "No, it's not. I mean, it's not for this '90s kid."
There also seemed to be a lot of LeBron James, and in my memory, Michael Jordan was not in that much of Space Jam.
Yes, he was.
What are you talking? Yeah, what? It's about Michael Jordan.
It literally, he's in so much of Space Jam. He is Space Jam.
Yeah.
Cannot wait. Just finished the trailer.
Do you know the premise? Those little goblins come
To be better than Michael Jordan.
and
Yeah, they're aliens, not goblins. So let's get it fucking right.
Okay.
they all look the same to me.
All right, Josh, what's the hot reaction?
Well, Jabberjaw was in the trailer. Love me the Jabberjaw fucking hard cuts. So very excited.
Don't you just feel like there's a lot of LeBron James?
I mean, there was a lot of MJ in the original.
See?
What is that? What?
Isn't the appeal is that the Looney Tunes and other people are in it?
I mean, yes, but it
Trailer.
is also a show about a basketball player.
Agreed,
Kinda.
not for Bill Murray. Cannot wait for if Bill Murray does not make a special appearance, I will be livid.
I love Bill Murray.
I'm gonna guess Bill Murray shows up.
He's got
Better.
it, right?
Even if he's just a cartoon Bill Murray. Oh,
Has
want
anybody ever
cartoon
seen the
Bill
movie Zombieland?
Yes.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
of
one
course.
those-
It's like my favorite movie. It's the only movie I brought to college.
I love that.
That's so.
What a fact.
Yeah.
It's watched it like so many times.
It's so good. It's my favorite movie. It's so funny.
It's a fun
But-
flick.
Bill Murray reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch
Fucking
Zombieland
Murray.
2?
I watched
Yes.
it. It's good.
Is
It
it?
seemed
fun.
bad.
It's horrible, Josh. You mean horrible.
If I can get through a movie, it was good.
That is not
It's
the
terrible.
bar, bro. That is not the
Right.
bar.
My standard.
Um,
Damn. Well,
Josh,
I mean-
are you going to watch the Snyder Cut?
No, I've never. The only DC movie I have seen was Batman vs Superman, and I'll never watch. Oh, I watched Suicide Squad, I guess. But
I was
besides
just trying to
those-
get us as much into the algorithm as we can, such as all the hot
yeah,
buttons.
hold on. I gotta change the Twitch description to watching the Snyder Cut.
I feel like we're a week. We're like a couple weeks behind that now, man. We missed.
Nah, dude, it's still relevant.
I don't know.
My
Weigh in,
roommate
folks.
watched it today. Are you
Mark?
gamers? Are you gamers?
Are you gamers? India, are you gamer?
I'm not gamer.
Tell that to your Sims account, bro.
I haven't played
True.
Sims in a very long time. My Sims, unfortunately, doesn't work on my computer right now.
Since we
When
forced you
Sims
to
I
was
update.
just saw-
working, I am gamer. I am obsessed with
H-
Sims.
HR
my
just showed
family.
me. It showed me a meme, and it was like every Sims player goes on a 36-hour Sims binge, and then doesn't touch it for like 9 straight months. And that is-
Literally, that is it, Josh. That is it. Literally, like when I go into my Sim spiral, I will just stay in bed and not sleep, and just like, I have to see my toddler grow up. I have to see my wife have her baby. Like, all of these things that have to happen. I need to get that promotion. It becomes me. I am God.
Yeah.
I am become Sim. Destroyer of worlds.
I'm gonna spend all of Monday playing Total War Warhammer 2, as I do every Sunday pretty much. Although this time it's Monday, a day off.
That's
But yeah.
awesome.
That's what I will do all day. I can't wait.
AJ, are you gamer?
I am gamer. I edit. One of the other main podcasts I produce is Into the Aether, a low-key video game podcast, and they talk about games a lot. And I was just very generously gifted a modded Game Boy Advance from a fan.
Ooh,
And it
nice.
rules. I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy IV. It's my first actual Final Fantasy. I played 7 Remake.
I've never played one really.
Final Fantasy IV is really good. I don't want to, not spoilers because it happens in the first 15 minutes, but you play as somebody who's working for the bad guy in the very beginning, but you don't know it. And then in the first 15 minutes, it's like, oh no, I'm bad. And then you spend the whole game trying to reconcile that fact, and it's really good. It's a lot of fun. So yes, I am gamer. I gotta play Fire Emblem on the GBA. I tried to play Three
Preach.
Houses, wasn't into it, but I do love the strategy of Fire Emblem.
Battle Dad, I'm your Fire Emblem guy. It's my favorite series, tied with Dynasty Warriors. I'm on my 4th playthrough of Three Houses. We'll talk.
Oh, Josh, I didn't realize you were like a Fire Emblem head. Like I didn't realize your Fire
Been
Emblem love
playing
went
it-
deep.
Been playing it since the first one. I can distinctly tell you that I bought, I want to say, Golden Sun on the Game Boy Advance.
Golden
And
Sun's
it came
good.
with an instruction manual. And on the back were all the other Famicom produced games on the Game Boy Advance. And I saw the image for Fire Emblem and I was like, I'll buy that game.
I
What is-
mean, Fire Emblem's a strategy game, and
It's a
there's
strategy RPG.
You make friends with a bunch of people, they slowly join your group, and then you go into battle with them, and if they die, in some of the games, they die forever, and they don't come back.
It's
But this, I mean, Josh likes
Oh
it.
shit, we got Mike Wyatt in the house.
Mike Wyatt, my roommate. Cheers.
I am not gamer, you know, and
Pete, you play games.
and
You
it
play games.
Pete used to play lots of games. Pete used to fucking crush Hearthstone and League of Legends 24/7.
Yeah,
felt like.
Pete, you beat Hades in like
there
a
was-
week.
I did
Oh,
play a
Hades
lot of
was
Hades.
so good.
There was in college, I played a tremendous amount of League of Legends, and I've always played a lot of World of Warcraft. However, I would say they were my main games. I had a PlayStation. I played a lot of that as a kid, but then I kind of moved on to those games. But I have pretty much been out of that for a long time. Now I play Switch sometimes, and honestly, nowadays I mostly do it to play games in Japanese, just as like a way to study. But I'm playing a video game, you know. But definitely compared to, I mean, there was times when I would live with Josh where I would just essentially play 10 hours of World of Warcraft all day, you know?
Yeah.
Or I would just only play League of Legends and on my Saturday. And we are a far cry from that time in my life, so I guess that's why I feel like I am not gamer.
There were many nights that Pete and I and our third roommate would just be like, we could play Towerfall Ascension
Ugh.
for like 20 minutes, kill some time, and then like 4 hours later, we were just shirtless, screaming at the TV from the couch. Shirtless because I know what you're thinking.
Oh,
And the
great
answer is
story.
yes. Peter, for 2 straight years, did refuse to let us plug in our air conditioner. So regardless of the temperature in our apartment, he demanded that we not raise our electric bill. So it was always hot. So like, if it was at all warm outside, you got in the apartment, shirt off. You couldn't. There was no alternative.
We were some sweaty young men
so
enjoying
gross.
each other's company.
And now he has
Before
the
our
opposite.
graduation. Before graduation, we threw out all of our furniture, including our mattresses, and Pete and I, with no air conditioning, had to share a box spring the night before graduation because there was nothing else in the apartment.
Yeah, we slept shirtless on a box spring together.
Why did you sleep on the
Ew.
floor?
Because
God.
the floor was
I don't know. It
gross.
seemed like a good idea at the time.
Motherfucker. Pete has the opposite problem where he doesn't buy gas for his heater. So his apartment's
So
just
on
always
brand.
cold.
My apartment's always cold, but we don't do insulation in this country, so it's just what it is.
Peter,
Pete, do you
what was
think-
that game?
Hmm?
That game where you play a lot of people and it's about that serial killer guy and then the dad.
Heavy Rain.
That was so fun. Peter showed me that game and we played that whole game. That was
I
so
think we played that game
fun.
together. That was a lot of fun.
We did play that game together. We all played a role.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how we played it when it came out, and we played it like that at Pete's, a bunch of us. A great time. I think that's the best way to play that game, and I'm curious if that game aged
And
well,
you-
because I know David Cage isn't that great of a guy.
Is he not a good dude?
He's not a good dude, but we don't need to get into it.
Who is David Cage?
He's
The
like
creator
the
of
artistic visionary behind those games.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I love that game.
me too.
Like,
So
I don't.
fun.
AJ, I would guess if you returned, it did not age
Probably
well.
not.
That's my guess.
I started playing it because it was on PlayStation Plus last year at some point, and I played the very beginning, and just like moving around in that space. Tara, my partner, was watching me play it and just like dying laughing because it was like at that space where like it was the first game with like super realistic faces, but to now standards they look like just like weird garbage. It's so funny. So she was just sitting there just
it was like
laughing.
Beowulf level faces.
Yeah. Which I remember going to see Beowulf and not knowing for the first 25 minutes that it was CGI.
Really?
Like,
Are you fucking
legitimately, I was in the theater and then I was like, wait a minute, I think this is animated.
Are you lying? You have
I'm
to be lying.
100% serious, dude. At the time in the theater, I had no idea until for like 25 minutes.
I kind of like that movie, but I also remember them hyping it up like you're not going to even know. And then instantly I was like, what are you talking about? Everyone looks really weird. This movie is really throwing me for a loop, you know?
I had somehow missed the whole media cycle of them hyping up the graphics, but I don't know. Oh, we're back at the... Wow.
All right, should we wrap things up?
It's honestly perfect timing because we've now listened through the entire Amaranthan song catalog. I've had that playing in the background this whole time.
Nice.
And we've now started back at the top, so back where we started. But yeah, I think just about 2 hours is a good spot to call it.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. I know this is our kind of first time just vibing, a little halfway thing, you know? Maybe we'll do it again at the end of Bone Hunters. We'll see. We'll talk about how it went.
Yeah.
I really appreciate everyone showing up. Nice to answer little questions from chat. We didn't really have a lot planned to talk about, so it was kind of needed.
Yeah, it was a great time. Thank you all for showing up, and thank you to anyone who's in the England, UK area, because I know that it's like 2 a.m. right now.
You guys are rock stars.
Yeah, but I mean, thank you to everybody who tuned in, obviously, and yeah, thanks for your questions. It's been fun to do this, something for the pod that is a little less high stakes, and that I don't have to edit. It's
Yeah.
Once we're done this, it's out there.
This is unedited. I mean, compared to the show, which is so clean, we are really just...
Yeah, this is pretty much the vibe of a recording of the show, honestly. Like, you know, interrupting each other and silences and stuff. Like, this is what I cut out. But here it is.
Oh, it's
Special
past
for
3
you.
a.m. in Germany.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks for coming.
Cheers to you, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Crazy.
I love Germany.
Thank you, podcast.
Awesome.
All right. Well, like we said, thanks, y'all. We'll Bone Hunters next Friday. Very exciting stuff. Yeah, cool. You can join our Discord, bit.ly/VBBDiscord. You can follow us on Twitter and all that. So, yeah. Peace out, everybody. I don't have an end screen, so it's just gonna like abruptly cut off. Bye.